Hi everyone, this is Writing Tips with Rawr. So it took me a little while to get into another video because I needed some new equipment and everything, and for some whatever reason my computer hates microphones. So I'm just gonna do this from my phone again. And we're just gonna do that until I can do something about that. Anyways, so I wanted to talk about run-on sentences. So real quick, what do they look like? In case you don't know. Kind of looks something like this. Let me read that. Looked over the patio and realized that I forgot to let the dog back in because I was distracted by the noises coming from the basement that Dad always tells me to stay out of. So in case you couldn't tell it, run-on sentences are very lengthy, they're very wordy, and technically it is still proper grammar, but it's a run-on sentence because we don't need that thought to be long. That's basically what it is, a long thought. Here's another example of what a run-on sentence can look like. So, she told me she was going to the bathroom, Yala said as she dug the dirt from under her nails and didn't pay much interest to the situation. And that's the last I heard, and that's the last I heard from her. So, again, it's not technically incorrect when we're concerning grammar, but in case you couldn't hear it, I had to take a breath to finish that. So it's a little long, it's a little lengthy when it doesn't need to be. So we can go into how do we fix this? How do I fix it? Well, so if we're going back to that first sentence / paragraph, the first line, whatever it's called, whatever you want to call it. So basically, the one way you could do it is just basically split it up into multiple sentences, and you can't do that. Excuse me. And it would still be grammatically correct. So let's take a look at it after putting in some periods and commas. Okay. I looked over to the patio and realized I forgot to let the dog back in. There were noises coming from the basin, and I got distracted. I didn't find out what the noise was, though, because Dad says that place is forbidden. So in case you couldn't tell, I did change up the last sentence a little bit because that's just more like of a style choice for me, but it does explain why I got distracted, why I didn't let the dog back in, and what distracted me. And now I'm explaining I didn't find out what that was because Dad says it's forbidden. So that's just another way of wording it. And towards the end, I reworded it just a little bit so that it sounds interesting. That was more of like a story choice just to make a good story. Okay, take a breath. All right, and then we're going back to what Yala was doing. Okay, and this is another way you can do it. She told me she was going to the bathroom, Yala said as she dug the dirt from under her nails. It was clear that she paid no interest to the situation. After inspecting the nail... Oh my goodness, I did this a few days ago, I'm sorry. After inspecting the nail she had just finished, she added, and that's the last I heard from her. And let me fix that word. Inspect. Here we go. After inspecting. It's supposed to say inspecting. Oh, there we go. Okay. I had to fix that. Alright. So now you can ask yourself, how do we prevent the run-on sentences? Because sometimes they could come up and you just don't realize it. So we can prevent it. So this is just my way of dealing with it. You don't have to be restricted to these rules, but I usually try to keep it around 16 words. And no, I do not bother to count the words. But the sentence, you have one sentence that will usually be around 16 words. 16 words per sentence. And the most you want are 3 clauses. Unless you're talking about a list. With a list, you can make that a little lengthy, but usually we want 3 clauses, the maximum. Excuse me. I had to fix my headset. And usually that will keep the sentence around the length that is okay to read from. So, an average of 2 clauses. That's what I usually do, and this is just my rule for myself. If you are more skilled in writing English than me, and you can make that work, then go for it. Another way you can prevent it is by saying it out loud. Does your narration have a monotone, or do you sound droning? Can you say it in one normal breath? So, like I said, when I did the run-on sentences, there were a couple where I had to take a breath. If you're straining to finish the sentence, it might be a little too long. Therefore, it might be a run-on sentence. Or if you're droning, you're going da 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 da. That could be the sign of a run-on sentence. So you might have to break it up, or just reword it in a way where it doesn't sound boring. And like I said, there can be exceptions, like if we have an anxious character or a scatterbrain. It can happen. Nope, sorry. Let's see. So why do they come up? Usually I will see these come up when an author or a writer is starting to have more elevated writing. Like they're starting to elevate their writing skills. So they're going from like beginner, intermediate beginner to more like next level kind of stuff. Like I know how to do long sentences. I know how to be wordy and everything. So, and they're still getting, like, they have a better handle of their writing style, but they're still getting a handle on it. That's when I usually see it. So run-on sentences will start to show up in your writing as you learn how to form long sentences with things like adjunctions, commas, semicolons, colons, and anything else I forgot over the years of not taking an English class. Seriously, guys, it's been like 8 years now. And, like, it really has been that long. And as you read this, you're probably noticing, well, that's a run-on sentence right there, plus a short one. I did that on purpose because you can do a run-on sentence and it can work for your writing, like I have said earlier. So what's a good example of a run-on used wisely? So we got one here. And this is for a scatterbrain kind of character. I always thought of how funny it is that the weeds can sometimes be the prettiest flower in the garden. Like, who decided it's a weed anyway? So that's a scatterbrain, and it kind of goes into like how people actually think, or at least scatterbrains or people with ADHD. You don't really think about, oh, where's the period, where's the comma, where's the semicolon? You don't think about that. And here's one of an anxious character, if you can see that. My screen's dark. Sorry, the screen of my phone darkens. But here it is. There is blood and screaming and explosions, and it all morphed into a cacophony that hurt my ears, and I just wanted it to stop. So that wasn't very emotional. I'm sorry. My voice acting game isn't on today. I'm out of breath. And I can't hardly hear myself because this new headset is very ear deafening. Anyways, but there's an example of a run-on sentence working for a scatterbrain or an anxious character or something traumatic going on. That is one instance where a run-on sentence can work, but again, like, I know what I'm doing, and it just comes with practice. And you never know. Maybe you keep on the run-in sentence there, or maybe you split it up and use my phone and make something work out. So, that is writing tips with Rawr, and today I showed you some examples of run-on sentences, how to prevent them, and how you can use them properly. I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!